Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and this video is going to be going over the Tandem summoning event that is going to be launching tomorrow in Raid, letting you know exactly what it is, if it's worth it, going over the champions, which ones are good, which ones are bad, and if you should participate, cover all of that stuff. So let's get into it. Alrighty, so first of all, we are being told this kind of behind the scenes. You won't see like a news post about this until probably tomorrow or so. The banner alerts thing is old. They're going to be rolling in to a new Tandem summoning event, and I will go ahead and read it for you. So tomorrow we'll launch a 10x event chance for Ancient, Sacred, and Void Shards to summon the following champions, who are all kind of based around a theme that they work in tandem with each other and have abilities and bonuses if they are both in the same team. So it's going to be Senesha and Skullcrown, which are the two Night Revenant epics that have a tandem ability, and then Juliana and Romero, again two epics that kind of work together in tandem, and then Xavia and Bellinor are two legendaries, and Venus and Cupidus are two legendaries that have tandem abilities. So again, the first thing I want to cover is they've been doing a lot of 10x summoning events recently, and I know behind the scenes we've kind of been telling them like, hey, you know, yes, it's better than nothing, but these events aren't really what people are looking for right now. It's hard for us to really recommend that that people really get after these because there's no boosted rates or anything like that, and there's no like boosted chance to your shards, so you're not more likely to get a legendary. For example, Void Shards. If you pull up the summoning portal, you click on the eye, Void Shards are going to be 0.5% to get a legendary. So let's say you know, the legendaries that you're able to get in this event are Venus and Bellinor. Now okay, that's great. Let's say you want to do this event and go after Venus and Bellinor. Well, first of all, Venus is extremely amazing and Bellinor is pretty underwhelming. So let's say you really want to go for Venus, you're gonna have to pull like 200 or 300 Void Shards to feel good about your chance of getting a Void Legendary. And then how disheartening is it going to be if you pull Bellinor instead of Venus? And Void Shards are not cheap. I'm sure they will come out with some offers on, you know, buy 20 Void Shards for $100 or something. I don't know what the offer will be when this goes live tomorrow, but how disheartening is it going to be if you spend all this money, pull all these shards when the rates are not boosted, and then you get Bellinor instead of Venus. Now, if both of the Void Legendaries in this event were really good, like if it was Venus and Siphi or something, then I would be singing a different tune, because I'm like, hey, if you do happen to pull a Void Legendary, your chances of loving it is 100%, especially if you didn't have either one yet. So then we're talking about a 10x event that I would say, okay, odds are, if you do get a Void Legendary, it's going to be something really good for you. So it's a pretty good opportunity to pull those Void Shards. But given the likelihood that you'll be disappointed by either A, not getting a Legendary, or B, getting a Legendary and having it be Bellinor, means I can't really recommend that you start yanking a bunch of Void Shards and buying the offers and all that. It's just, in my opinion, it's kind of using your resources suboptimally. Now, it does make sense for some people, possibly. If you are a newer player who is kind of in a higher spending tier, then maybe it makes sense, because if you still need some Void rares and epics, like if you don't have a Cold Heart yet, so you're looking for an opportunity to pull Voids anyway, or you don't have a Bellower, or you don't have a Skullcrown. Skullcrown is one of the boosted champions in the event. Then it might make sense if you're a newer player who spends a pretty high amount of money. If those two things don't apply to you, then this event is probably not worth pulling your Void Shards. So how about in terms of pulling regular shards, which is going to be your Ancients and Sacreds? The champions you can get from Ancients and Sacreds is going to be Senesha, Juliana, and Cupidus, I believe. And Xavia, sorry. Yeah, so Senesha and Juliana, Xavia, and Cupidus. Of those, they're pretty decent champions, admittedly. Sinesha is a pretty generally useful epic. She's not like god tier or anything, but she's not trash. She's pretty good in faction wars and can do pretty well in certain scenarios. And then Juliana, a pretty good DPSer for the clan boss that can do well in certain scenarios as well. And Xavia is one of the meta speed farming champions. She has really good detonation, and if you manual her for the clan boss, she can be very good there as well. In the early to mid game, she can get some decent value in the arena if you've got good gear. Cupidus, not super great. He does have a flame out ability that hits pretty hard, but you know, he's not a legendary you're going to be like excited to spend a bunch of legendary books on or anything. So again, I without the rates being boosted up, I just don't see a reason here to pull your ancients and your sacreds. My recommendation would be to hold off, basically for all players. I know for voids, I said if you're a new player who is a pretty high spender, then this event might make sense to go after that Venus and Skullcrown and those void rares that you're gonna need anyway. But for this event, I can't say that. Even if you are a new player who is going to be a decently high spender, there's not really a crown jewel here that that's kind of dangling in front of you. Xavia's good, but for new players, she's really not that great. I actually learned that in the Gold Rush competition because I summoned Xavia on a new account and I wasn't really able to get much value out of her. Without having really good gear, she kind of just weighed me down in terms of that speed running event. Now, obviously, in a scenario where you're not in a Gold 4 rush, she would be good for like a new account. But in terms of that competition, she wasn't great. But that's a different topic for a different day. My point was none of those champions are really going to benefit like a new account in terms of being like a crown jewel and slamming all of your shards and spending a bunch of money to go after. You would be a little bit better off just waiting for boosted summoning rates or a better event that kind of coincides with pulling a bunch of shards. And since Venus is obviously the clear-cut crown jewel of this event, I will pull her up and kind of go over and let you know why. Maybe some of you are newer players and you're curious why Venus is so good. She's got a base speed of 112, which is one of the highest in the game. She's void, which means she's never going to hit weak. She's got an A1 that is a multi-hitter that places poison for 2 turns. That's an incredible A1. She's got an A2 that is an AoE, places the big version of decreased defense, the big version of weaken. It's on a 3-turn cooldown. That's one of the best AoE abilities in the game. She's got an A3, that's another AoE on a 4-turn cooldown when booked, that places HP burn, and then she's got the Tandem ability with Cupidus that's going to remove all buffs from all enemies and has a 50% chance of granting an extra turn. And then on top of that, she's got a pretty good aura, which is HP in all battles by 33%. So one of the most generally useful kits in the game, and she's void, so incredible. Like for a clan boss scenario, you're looking to bring poisons and HP burns and decreased defense and weaken. She fills 4 of those roles in the clan boss for you, and you also need typically an HP or defense aura, so that's 5 roles that she's gonna fill for a clan boss team. She's absolutely amazing, and she's the clear-cut crown jewel of this event, and only because of her being in it do I even consider the fact that it might be worth it for newer players who are going to spend a lot of money, and that is because they can also get a lot of utility out of champions like Skullcrown, who was also featured in this event. She's probably the second best champion in this event, and she is the attack champion epic, or attack champion void epic, and she's also featured in this, and she's one of the best scaling attack damage dealers. She can hit very, very hard with this ability here that does AoE and places weaken, and she's also got AoE on her A1, and then one of the cooler Tandem abilities in the game, because she's got the AoE that places an extra hit if target is more than 50% HP, and the person she is paired with, Sinesha, has the same A1, but it's the opposite. It places an extra hit on enemies with less than 50% HP. So they have very cool tandem and working together, so I really like how Sinesha and Skullcrown are designed. So that's why I said with Skullcrown and Venus being in this, it's not an awful idea to pull void shards if you're kind of newer to the game and you're spending a decent amount of money. Just keep in mind that as I say that, for about 95 to 98% of you, my general recommendation is going to be to save your shards and not pull them during this event. But while I got you here, before I let you go, I will check out the offers and let you know if there's anything worth going after in the shop here. Is there anything worth plugging in? I'll do this one quick. $50, and let's clear this out. That was one of the different offers. Silver 600k, and we're gonna go 600 gems, and 5 and 5. Okay, yeah, it's a 1.32. So this offer is not good, especially with events coming through. Obviously, they're cranking out events and summoning things in the works and all that. This is an offer that I would definitely not recommend currently. The bonus potion pack, I don't have to plug this in. If you're really desperate for potions, I guess it's decent. If you spend a fair amount of money and you're kind of newer and you're desperate for these potions, I guess. But again, for 90-something% of you, this is going to be a bad purchase. Not a whole lot to go over here. The Immortal 5-star Legendary full set for $20. It's one of the better gear offers they probably put out, but in my opinion, it's not worth a $20 gamble to get 1 or 2 pretty usable pieces of Immortal gear. So yeah, that kind of does it for this video. I just wanted to get this out there because I know a lot of people are going to be kind of curious on if this is something they should pull shards for, and kind of how content providers feel about this event. And I do want you guys to know, we do let them know behind the scenes. I always forget to put this away. We do let them know behind the scenes that we would like them to be more fresh with the events and not just throw out these 10x summoning rates with kind of nothing going along with them. It's hard for us to recommend that a large percentage of you pull shards for events structured like this. It's mainly just going to be for newer players that are spending a lot of money, and probably a bad idea for 95% of you, like I said a couple times before. But I just wanted to kind of re-wrap that and kind of re-mention it and kind of wrap things up. But yeah, as always, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.